Leaflet ladies and bare root boys. Neutralize your nematodes. Maximize your mini-floras. And, Nick, would a podcast by any other name sound as sweet?
I don't know. Let me check. Oh, God, that's Joe Rogan. That's f***ing terrible.
Oh, no.
Oh, that's really nice. That's Talk Tull to me.
Welcome back to the podcast. I am Omen Thomas Sade.
And I am Nick McGill.
Together we are the Feckless Momes.
And this, my little pot plants, is Talk Tull to me.
A grafting experiment in the greenhouse of prog rock, in which Noisette, Nick, and Oh Void Omen will stop and smell each and every torch ginger track that ranunculus rock band Jethro Tull have ever cold started under the lamplight. We will shake a shrub with Jonathan Ninebark Noyce, grab a gallon of Gallica with Andrew Giddings, propagate a peck of Doan Perry petals, and bask in the budding blooms of Martin Barr. And if we can ameliorate the aphids, mitigate the mildews, and pulverize those pesky parasites, we might just witness the blooming of that rarest rose of all, the pitcher plant of the piccolo, the hyperbolic hypernicum, the foxglove flautist, the polyrhythmic protea, the snapdragon of sky, the master wart who plays for sport, Ian Anthurium Anderson. You know what the Anthurium is.
Is that the...
It was featured in a Jethro Tull music video.
Oh.
Called Kissing Willie.
I was going to say, is that the corpse flower, but I guess not. No. It's a flower that looks like a wang.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's why it was in Kissing Willie.
Yeah. The corpse flower would not have been.
No, that was in Kissing Dead Body. Not a song by Jethro Tull.
Corpsing Willie.
Nick, hello.
Omen, hello.
It is wonderful to be a little buzzing bee in your pollen sack today.
What a joy. What a treat to have you in my pollen sack, Omen.
Yeah.
Buzz away. Really.
Buzz.
Just buzz away.
As Sabrina Carpenter says, something, honeybee, come get this pollen.
Boy, she's such a poet, isn't she? She's just... unbelievably good.
Unbelievably good. Nick.
Omen.
Every week we seem to find ourselves here talking about a track by the rock band Jethro Tull, and this week is not an exception to the rule.
Fact. This Sisyphusian task continues to trudge along. The end is in sight. We're getting to the top of that mountain. We may earn our immortality soon.
Any day now.
Any day now.
What is the musical boulder that we get to push up the hill today?
So we are on the final track proper off of jtull.com.
Oh, jtull.com, we barely knew ye.
That's right.
Gone by so quickly.
It has gone by quickly, but it did have 14 tracks, which is on the buffier side. We are on A Gift of Roses.
Ooh.
Gift of Roses. And before we dive into that, I just want to put a little note in here. This is dropping on New Year's Eve. Tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen, I've mentioned it before, but tomorrow is our 6-year anniversary of Talk Tull to Me.
If you've been with us listening from the very beginning, we applaud you. We thank you. If you just joined us, we also applaud and thank you.
Yeah, there's no difference.
No, there's no difference.
No.
New friends silver, old friends also silver.
Does anyone have any gold?
Does anyone have any gold? Nick, what is the track that we are talking about to round out this beautiful 2024?
It is A Gift of Roses.
And just like the rose, 2024 has had blooms and thorns. Nick McGill.
Omen Thomas Sade.
That was a gift of roses.
Oui, it sure was.
That is the ending track of .com. Of course, when .com was released on the CD, that appeared to be, if you looked carefully, a 9-minute and something track, which is a bit mysterious.
Ooh.
Until after, some minutes of silence after the end of the track, you heard none other than the voice of Ian Anderson telling you, "You've stumbled across a bonus track highlighting my new solo album, The Secret Language of Birds."
Tweet, 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 tweet. Call me in the morning.
Hello, this is Ian Anderson. Congratulations, you have happened upon a bonus track on this edition of the new Tull record. It's a preview of the title track from my solo album, The Secret Language of Birds. Tweet, 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 tweet. See you in the morning.
That blew my mind when we were, 15.
That secret track?
The secret track, the secret language of birds. I mean, It was just so cool.
Yeah, sure was.
Made me feel like I was part of a very special club.
And that's owners of that CD.
Yes. Nick, this song, you mentioned this is a 14-track album. Where does this track rank for you on the album in terms of your personal desire to listen to it?
Number 1.
You love it?
I love it, love it, love it.
You love it that much. You are a sucker for songs about flowers.
Flowers and cats and trains. Trains.
Trains. Cats.
Cats.
Oh my God, look what the cat dragged in.
Yeah, I love everything about this song. It's sweet. It's romantic. It's got a great beat. It's got the squeezy box.
Oh, yeah, it has.
It's got one hell of a chorus. It's one of the best choruses in Tull, hands down.
Picking up tired feet, back from a far horizon, cleaned up and priced down, and dressed to look the part.
Followed by Something's on the Move.
Oh, sunshine, take me now away from here. I'm a needle on a spiral in a groove.
In Rainbow Blues.
Oh, but the rain wasn't made of water, and the snow didn't have a place in the sun.
Both have like great hooks for choruses. I'm sure there are one or two others I may come up with, but those three are just like, I'm there for the chorus. That's why I go to this song, is for the chorus.
Yeah. I think it's a fantastic track. I enjoy listening to it very much. It feels like a very positive, celebratory way to end the album.
What a great way to cap it off. Yeah.
This is not a reflection of the song itself, but to me, it is the opposite of Another Harry's Bar.
Yes. Yes. It ends with promise. It ends on a positive note. Unbeknownst to everyone at that time, it would be the last Tull album for, what was it, like 21, 22 years? Something like that?
Well, unless you're counting the Jethro Tull Christmas album.
Oh, that's true. That's true. Yeah.
Which came out just a couple years later.
That's true. I did forget about that.
You always forget about the Christmas album.
That's funny because I love the Christmas album. I don't count it as a Tull album proper, though.
But it is.
But it is. It is. We covered songs off of it.
Ending with Gift of Roses is also the opposite of ending with Strange Avenues, as with Rock Island.
Yeah.
I would say that if we look at the pattern of Tull albums where it's kind of dark, light, dark, light, dark, light, .com to me ultimately has a light, positive feeling. There's, of course, elements of darkness, but especially ending with this song, it's just like, hope, love.
This is the lightest on the album, I would say.
Certainly up there.
Yeah. How do you feel about this song? You like it? Not number 1?
I love it. I think it's great. I do enjoy the kind of mystery element and the hardness of things like Spiral.
Yeah.
And Hunt by Numbers.
Okay.
But there's something really timeless and also modern about this song. Can I say that? Does that sound realistic?
You can.
It doesn't mean anything.
You can say that. I'm not going to stop you and I won't edit it, but you will sound dumb.
I feel like this song could exist. The sentiment of this song could exist in any time period.
Yes.
And I feel like some elements of the delivery lean into that, like the accordion. It sort of makes it feel like, oh, this could be an 18th century love song.
Yeah.
But then things like the way that Martin is playing the guitar brings this very modern, almost kind of ahead of its time sound.
Yes.
Like, no one has even to this day managed to play the electric guitar in such a modern way as Martin Barre did in 1999.
Time is a flat circle, and the multiverses stacked one on top of the other.
Yeah.
And for this specific song, you did a core sample and drilled through several universes and several timelines to get all of these sounds from all of these instruments together in one.
It's like the big toothpick that they put in a club sandwich.
Exactly, yes.
Yeah.
Listener, if you were watching this, you would see we have a visual. There's a pie chart, and we've got yarn leading to different pins.
There's a sandwich chart.
There's a sandwich chart. It would make a lot more sense if you were watching this.
I love the acoustic guitar on this track.
Literally, until I sat down to listen to this before we started recording, I did not know that it started with acoustic strumming.
It sure does.
I thought it was the flute that brought us in, and then the acoustics right there as well. Well, I didn't know there was a fade in, a ramp up.
Which is very rare to have a fade in.
I feel like there was at least one other, but I could not tell you what it is.
I'm sure there are other examples, but this... Ooh,
I got it.
what is it?
Christmas song. I feel like that one kind of fades in.
Yes, you're right.
With the jingle bells in the back, yeah.
However, that one is a little bit of a false lead.
That's true. That's very true, yeah.
Whereas this is almost, I wouldn't call it a false lead. It's sort of a pre-intro. There's a pre-intro, and then you get that thing that I always associate, like you, with this song, that...
Yeah, the flute.
It's
It's almost like a count-in, really.
a little warm-up.
Yeah. Instead of Ian going, 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3. It's from War Child.
That's Sealion.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3.
I would describe Ian's flute playing in this song as peppery.
Okay, yeah. It's piquant.
He's had his dose of capsaicin,
Yeah.
and he's under the influence, frankly.
Yeah. It's spicy. It is not our main flavor, but it adds to the profile. It adds to the experience of the song. It really plays well on the palate with the rest of the flavors that we are given.
We have some lovely, mellow, creamy hand drumming.
Yes. For the first portion of it, it's hand drumming. It's very fun.
For the first portion, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't catch that until this listen through as well. Yeah.
I'm not an expert on hand drums, and so I won't speculate.
It sounded like a djembe, though. It sounded a lot bigger, or a congo.
Yeah.
It sounded a lot bigger than a bongo would be. I mean, unless it's like one of the big boys.
Or even like one of those Indian drums where you have a couple different ones that have different tones
Yes, yeah. You play with the placement of the palm and really...
to get a slightly different sound. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's wonderful. I love what Doan is doing.
a lot of fun.
There are also some other percussion-y elements in there. Just below the surface that are hard to distinguish, but it seems like there's maybe a hand drum level, and then a stuff that you hit level.
Yeah, maybe. It is, for it being an unplugged sound, we don't have any electric going on at that point. It does feel a little busy.
Busy in a nice way.
Yeah. Not a complaint, but it is difficult to really pinpoint each individual piece. It does kind of sweep you in.
Yes.
That's also because it's that level of that intro is actually really fairly short. We do kind of jump in to the guitar strumming, the electric guitar strumming pretty quickly.
Yes, we do. Jumping into that first verse, I love the spaces in the verse. I count the hours. You count the days.
I count the hours, you count the days.
It's lovely that there is space for some of those sounds to come through.
It's well punctuated.
It's well punctuated. Ian, as soon as he starts singing, is backed up by Martin, who is kind of playing in unison, but with chords. It's very interesting.
He's got a very strange role in this one. when we get to the chorus, he's holding the strings. He goes, chicka, chicka, bow,
Yeah.
chicka, 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 bow.
Picking up tired feet back from a far horizon, cleaned up and vaporized down, and dressed to look the part.
It's great. It's really good.
Yeah, he's playing the strings muted like that. But the acoustic guitar doesn't disappear.
Is that not mandolin when the strings come back? Or are you saying acoustic all the way through?
I'm referring to we count the minutes in this passion play. Ba-ba-ba-bum.
Play.
I really love that little comment
Yeah.
after passion play.
And that's the intro to the mando. It does carry through beyond that, yeah.
It just gives such a lovely lift. It's playful. It is, of course, a little bit self-referential,
Yeah.
but there's so much, I wouldn't say humor, but just lightness in this song, and it's great.
And we're not done building into this song just yet.
No. 50 seconds in, we get your favorite, the squeeze box, which is accompanied by a strong, heavy bass sound.
That's at the chorus. That's when bass, squeeze box, and the drum kit comes in as well.
Picking up tired feet back from a far horizon, cleaned up and vaporized down, and dressed to look the part.
Yes, well observed. Picking up tired feet, they all kind of drop in right there.
Yeah, which is hella powerful choice for that.
Yeah.
For how much force is just behind the chorus itself to really put the big power behind that as well. What a great choice. What a great decision.
A little bit later on, we get a wonderful interplay, almost in the way that we would normally on a breakdown or an instrumental have Ian and Martin going back and forth on the flute and the guitar. We sort of have that with the accordion.
Oh, I missed that.
Ian's playing the main theme there. And then the accordion always gives me the feeling of like a sort of European.
Yeah.
What's the song in Under Wraps? European.
European Legacy.
Yes. It reminds me of that kind of like the exoticism of France. It's so fun. And I think it plays to the theme, which is this really the theme of this whole album, which is extremely worldly, extremely urbane in a really beautiful way, but still remaining grounded.
Yeah. It's a lovely sound. The lightness of the song is there, but that accordion just takes it to the next level of lightness.
Yeah.
Lightness in terms of it not sounding heavy, but also lightness in terms of entertainment value. You know, I'm struggling for it's a light song. It's a light, fun song.
It's engaging. It is accessible without being pandering.
And the accordion's often playing on the offbeat where the mandolin usually lives as well. It's fun.
Yes. Good observation. We have quite a lot of repeats of the chorus.
Yes. Yeah. The chorus is longer than the verses, which is nice. But we get short verse, chorus, repeat of the first verse, then chorus with like little extended chorus repetition.
Chorus. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Great song. The bass is very bassy.
It does exactly what it says on the tin.
It sort of starts out simple and then keeps getting more and more complex as things go along, but is in what we've referred to as stealth bass mode most of the time.
Yes.
It's not really stepping forward in the mix, but it's there. It's powerfully supporting everything. This song is it just feels a little bit different than the sort of typical Jethro Tull construction that we have.
Yeah. And from everything we've heard on this album, really, I think that really helps it to stick out. And, I'm intrigued now.
I'm intrigued to hear what you're going to say.
I hope you're intrigued because I have something that's intriguing. I'm intrigued now to hear in a year or whatever the rest of those bonus tracks that JDA, friend of the pod JDA, let us listen to. Very, very interested to see what else was on the docket. What could have gone in this place?
That's a good point. Or supplementally,
or elsewhere, yeah.
The thing that struck me about listening to those clips that we heard was that there was a strong Celtic element.
Yeah.
And that's something that we don't have a lot of in the tracks that did, make it into the original release of the album.
Which leads me to believe that if any of the songs were to be swapped out, it would be this one, because this one's also adjacent to the sound of this album as opposed to fitting in so cleanly.
I love this, though, as the way to end the album.
Oh, I do too, yeah.
Because something like Catfish Rising, there's a very strong stylistic thread through the whole thing.
Yeah.
Even Roots to Branches has a very strong stylistic thread all along. .com feels a little bit more, it has a little bit to do with the order that the tracks have been put in.
Yeah.
But it feels a little bit more like an evolution somehow. It's almost like they've dived into this digital world so hard that they've come out the other end and have gone back into a feeling of traditionalism, but now with the internet. I don't know.
Right. They went in as Jethro Tull and they came out as pixelated Jethro Tull. It's still Tull, but it's through this lens. It's through this different media almost.
They discovered the internet. They went crazy with it for a week and then ended up using the internet to order old books on folklore and get deliveries of grain.
Yes. A wagon and a scythe.
Yes. Scythes.com. Yes.
Heavyhorses.org.
I'd like to order your heaviest horse, please. Sort by least heavy to most heavy.
Shipping is astronomical, but worth it.
Yeah. Anything else to say about the track musically?
Not the chorus part, but the music and the vocals of our verses here. I count the hours, you count the days together. It feels like an early 90s sound. Like, is it Bon Jovi or Bryan Adams? Or doesn't it have a little something there that smacks of pop from the decade prior?
I won't argue with you because I don't know enough about the pop music of that era.
I know, I don't either, but I can't put my finger on it.
All for one and all for love.
Let's make it all for one, all for love.
That was Bryan Adams, Sting, and Bon Jovi, wasn't it?
I don't know that one.
I will say that I think one of the things you're picking up on is the strong offbeat in this song.
It is very powerful, this one.
Boom, tap, tap, tap,
Which is not a terribly poppy thing, though, is it?
I think that it has, maybe there was a time in the 90s where that was a thing. I don't know.
It's possible, yeah.
I think it's difficult to compare Jethro Tull to anything that's contemporaneous just because they're so on their own track. They're so on their own world.
Yeah.
What else came out in 99? Let's look this up.
Is that too early for Britney Spears?
Flaming Lips, Beck, Wilco, The Magnetic Fields, Californication came out, Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Oh, wow.
Sigur Rós.
Oh, I like Sigur Rós, yeah.
Things Fall Apart by The Roots. Moby was big. Mos Def, Nine Inch Nails, Jimmy Eat World, Eminem Slim Shady LP came out. Ooh, Millennium, the Backstreet Boys album came out. Fly, the Dixie Chicks. At the time, they were called the Dixie Chicks.
Yeah, all of that sounds familiar, yeah. It's so hard to pinpoint that era because it feels like a pastiche at this point because the sound kind of blends together and that's probably just a decadal thing. But yeah, all of that sounds right. And in saying so, none of it sounds like this, which is not a surprise at all.
Baby One More Time did come out in 99.
Oh, it was? Okay, wow.
That was her debut album, so you were totally right about that. Ricky Martin had a big album.
Oh, okay, sure. Yep. That also puts us around the time of Christina Aguilera.
That was also her nominal album, her self-named album.
Would it be a nominal album? Self-titled?
Self-titled album.
There you go.
A lot of some records that were very watermarks, I guess.
Yeah, I think so. Watermarks for those pre-established, but also the entering of the media space for some very powerful acts as well.
Yeah. I would say it was the beginning of the era of the super pop
Absolutely. Yeah.
Christina Aguilera, Britney Spears,
Backstreet Boys.
Backstreet Boys.
Yeah.
Yeah, fascinating era. Very difficult to compare Jethro Tull to anything
Yeah, right.
of that time or any other time. Nick, welcome to the halfway point of the show.
Here we are. Thank you for unlocking the doggy door. I got in just fine.
If your head can get through, the rest of you can get through.
That's right. I can unhinge my shoulders.
That's right. We are going to, as we always do, talk a little bit about the album art for .com.
That's right. Not a whole lot to dive into, really. We don't have layers and inserts and all sorts of that. This was not on vinyl.
Right? So a much smaller format for art.
Yep. We look at the front of our album art here. We have kind of like a speckled, textured, almost stony background, a speckled like paper. It's like a tannish. On both sides, flanking our main image in a really flourishy font, in a color that's just a little bit darker than our background palette. It still blends in. We have .com repeated.
Yeah, it's funny. It actually, on one side, it says .com . And on the other side, it says com.com.
It kind of goes in succession, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. And I would describe this font, if sans serif is something, I would call this hyper serif.
All serif.
Only serif.
You took those serifs off, all of those sans, give them to me. I'll put them on this.
It's a collection of all of the serifs that fell off other fonts.
Yeah, it is very illuminated manuscript,
Yes.
calligraphic, very lovely. And we have the same for the title of the album itself. We have .com in that very big flourished. And above that, we have J-Tull in far less serifed, but I think it's supposed to be the same font, but it's all lowercase, so it is less fancy.
Yes, yes.
And the O of the dot is a perfect circle, and I believe that's supposed to be the globe? I'm not sure.
Oh, interesting. I had read it as a ring of fire.
The inside doesn't look like it belongs to the image behind it. You know, it almost looks like a scrying glass or something looking into the clouds.
It's something like that, yeah. And it could be just the smoke from the fire, but yeah, that's an interesting point.
And the big old wang in the room, we've got the statue behind it holding the O here, which is a drawing made by Ian himself.
Is it really?
It is. He drew it based on a statue that was in his garden.
Really?
Yep.
Is this the first album art that we've had that is actually drawn by Ian?
Yes, I believe so, yeah.
If you were to describe this statue, Nick, how would you describe it?
A satyr of some kind.
Yeah.
A Capricornian humanoid figure.
Yep.
We've got horns, we've got the goat ears, we've got the bright red eyes of, say, like an albino goat, the muzzle of the goat. And so it's a goat's head on top of a humanoid figure that is kind of on its knees in supplication. Its feet are not flat, but they're propped on the balls of the feet, which is a curious choice. It's pretty uncomfortable to be kneeling in that way.
And speaking of balls,
Speaking of balls, we also have the genitalia hanging there.
not in such graphic detail as would make it, really weird, just sort of there.
It's just there.
Just sort of naked. He's a naked blue sort of cat goat man
Yeah, that's all.
offering a flaming scrying O.
It's not weird. You're making it weird.
Don't make it weird. It's fine. In my mind, this is Ian's imagination of the spirits of the internet. If the forest is filled with Jack and the Green, then the wilds of the internet are filled with whatever this guy is.
Right. I mean, the satyr bears with it the connotation of wild abandon, sexy times, and hedonism.
A lack of set morality.
Yeah. Yeah. So maybe that's what that is. And that O is the portal that you use. That's the internet. That's your Ethernet cable right there.
Right there.
It would be your phone line in 1999. He's holding up your modem.
First, we should say that this is This is a wonderful drawing for somebody who's not known for their visual arts.
Yeah. And I believe, I could be wrong, I should ask Raven, but she would be very upset at seeing this, and she would just hate Jethro Tull even more. I believe it's watercolor, though.
Is it?
I think it is, yeah, based on the shading, the way we get the white, and then the way the blue is.
If that's the case, that's even more impressive, because watercolor is devilishly difficult to do. There's something just rather innocent and playful about the expression that's been captured here with this creature.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything, for lack of a better term, malicious or even tongue-in-cheek. I think it feels more like if you were drawing a nude in a drawing class, you know? Like, I really like this statue. This statue just so happens to have its junk hanging out. Mm-hmm. To be true to art, here we are.
It feels to me like this satyr is saying, hey, the internet is what you make of it. You can do anything on here. You can do good stuff, or you can do bad stuff.
It's true.
I'm not here to judge.
The internet is entirely neutral.
Yes.
It's how you use it. It's not the internet that kills people.
It's your
people
search
that
history that make you want to kill yourself.
Yes. So let's flip over to the back real quick.
Sure.
We have more of that kind of speckled textury background. We've got jtull.com in the bottom left and the top right in a flat sans serif. Mm-hmm. We have on the right-hand side beneath the barcode in that nice fancy font, but all lowercase, we've got our track listing. We've got jtull.com, a kind of the bulk on the left-hand side in that fancy font. We've got the O still on fire, but the statue is not holding the O. The statue is now inside of the O.
Oh.
And instead of holding the O, the statue is holding a flute up to its lips.
There you go.
Off the side. So we are to interpret that ultimately that is Ian.
Or is it?
No, it is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there's a name tag that says Ian.
It is reminiscent of the beastie from Broadsword and the Beast, the little fairy.
Yeah, yes. Good call. Yeah.
Little evolution or similar sort of beast.
Yeah, I mean, think about much of the art all the way through. Ian has been blatantly on it or alluded to, you know, Songs from the Wood and Heavy Horses. He's on there.
Yep.
Too Old to Rock and Roll and Aqualung. It's not him, quote unquote.
It's an Ian-inspired character, yeah.
Yeah.
This is another facet.
It's an homage to Ian.
It is an homage. It's a sexy blue homage.
Yeah. And then the inside on the disc cover itself is just that speckled texture with jtull.com on there.
Yeah. It's fun. It's playful. It makes you kind of stop and look at it. Maybe it's the composition of it, or maybe, I don't know, there's something about it that makes me feel a little bit like, yeah, oh yeah, that's the late 90s.
Yeah, right? There's something about it. Yeah. It's a bit clip arty. Not the goat itself, but it's like, oh, I drew this goat. Now what can I do? And then I'm going to put a fancy font over the top of it.
And at the time, let's remind ourselves that if Ian was playing with computer drawing systems, this would have been state of the art.
Oh, sure. Yeah, absolutely. I'm not knocking it.
Yeah.
It's yet another example of Ian kind of embracing it and going with it. And I don't think it's terribly heavy-handed. I think it's subtle and just a thing of its time.
Yes, so much like the Britney Spears Baby One More Time, there's that sense of like, here's a background, here's an image that we clearly laid over it. You get what you get. Everything's a little, to our modern eye, looks a little too clean in a way.
Oh, her just sitting like on the pink?
Right.
Yeah.
A lot of the other albums, if you look at them, kind of have a similar vibe to them. Not Supernatural by Santana. That looks like just a fun, updated, like if the cave painters in Australia had had a bigger palette and some peyote.
Oh my gosh, yes. That's like a Mexican art feel.
It's so fun.
It's very bright.
I'm glad that this album isn't in the style of the other thing that was popular at the time, which is a super, super up close, like way too up close, black and white picture of the artist.
Super intimate, yeah.
But like completely washed out as well.
Yeah. Much like a Zealot Gene?
Shh. Nick.
Omen, here we are.
What if we were to talk about the lyrics to this song?
I suppose we could. I mean, if you want to do things differently, I guess we will.
Yeah, why not? Let's switch it up and talk about the lyrics of this song.
Yeah.
A gift of roses. Well, not much mystery there.
Who will buy my roses?
The
remix?
Yeah.
Lerner and Lowdown remix.
Lerner and Get Low.
A gift of roses. Yeah. I don't think there's anything terribly veiled there. Traditionally, a gift of roses is a romantic gesture. If you want to give your grandmother flowers, you get her daisies. If you want to get your lover flowers, you get her roses.
Roses also have a connotation of spirituality.
Oh.
Oftentimes, Dante describes one of the levels of Paradiso as being like an opening rose with many, many petals. And on each petal, there's some group of saints. And then, as you get closer and closer to the middle, you get closer to the divine. Roses also had a connotation of secrecy at one point.
Oh, interesting.
I forget what it was, but I think if there was a rose above a table in a tavern or something, that was meant to symbolize like what we talk about here stays here.
Oh, cool. I used to make a shortbread cookie made with rose water.
Uh-huh.
And then I would make just a simple confectioner sugar and water icing, and I would use not lavender water, but a different flour. So it was the super floral cookie.
Yeah.
I missed that. We don't have that water. I don't even remember what that was anymore, but that was really good.
That's nice.
Yeah, I need to make those again.
Virgin Mary is connected imagistically with the rose.
Mm-hmm.
There's also, of course, the rose as a foil for the concept of corruption. William Blake uses that metaphor. We also, of course, have Shakespeare's famous reference to the worm in the bud.
Oh, sure.
That you might see a rose and it looks perfect, but inside there's a worm. It's full of corruption. Roses have been associated with various rulers. We have, of course, the Tudor Rose, the War of the Roses.
Yep.
And roses have been cultivated for ages and ages and ages, and there are lots of different types of them.
And let's not forget, there is, I don't think it necessarily applies here, but there is also that idea of a rose having thorns. Something so beautiful has something
Yes.
that can damage, that protects itself,
Yes, yes. Sleeping Beauty in French is called briar rose.
That's right. Yeah. Because a briar is a thorn, is a thorn patch.
Exactly. Roses are rich in symbolism.
Let's not forget poisons. Every rose has its thorn.
Let's not forget Guns N' Roses.
Also that, yeah. The 70s.
The 70s. Every rose has its thorn. I love that. I actually love that song.
That hair metal is just such a treat.
It. It's so fun.
Every rose has its thorn.
Okay.
Yes.
I count the hours, you count the days.
I count the hours, you count the days.
Well, we all have a you and an I. We have an I and a you. We have a subject and a
Object. Yep.
Well, they're counting down something.
Yes.
Already we have the implication of separation.
I think it's safe to assume that just based on counting down the time to something.
Or desire, at least.
Okay, yeah.
When you're counting the hours or you're counting the days, it's because you're looking forward to something.
It's anticipation, yeah.
Or you're in prison.
Right, and you're making little hash marks on the wall
Yeah.
with your toothbrush shiv.
Yeah. Together, we count the minutes in this passion play.
Passion play.
Rakataka.
Together we count the minutes in this passion play.
Fully capitalized there. Proper noun, this passion play.
Yes. Now, of course, the way it scans is I count the hours, you count the days together, we count the minutes in this passion play.
Yeah.
For me, there's a double sense of I'm counting the time until I get to see you again, but also I'm counting and being aware of every moment that we do get to be together.
Yeah. And we are counting together
Yes.
as well.
Yes.
We are both equally in anticipation.
Right. We're counting the days that we have alive.
Yeah, this passion play is this life that we lead that is full of passion.
Yeah, love that.
Yeah.
Walk dusty miles and I ride that train on a first-class ticket just to be with you again.
Walk dusty miles and I ride that train on a first-class ticket just to be with you again.
I think that walking dusty miles and riding the train to be with you again is slightly undermined by on a first class ticket.
On a first class ticket, yeah. Yeah, I'm not a savage. I will walk to the train station and I'll ride the train.
But I'm getting the nicest seat they have.
God damn it, it's going to be first class.
But there's something lovely about that. I mean, again, we talked a little bit about this, but there is an evolution.
Yeah, right.
It's that sense of like, I'm no longer in coach.
Yeah, we had Inverness Sleeper and now we have first class.
Yeah. And then we're straight into the chorus, picking up tired feet back from a far horizon.
Picking up tired feet back from a far horizon.
You know, the lyrics and the music are really working together to give that sense of globalness, that sense of, I could be coming from the Antipodes.
Right.
And that sense of like, oh, I just have to keep going.
Yeah.
My feet are tired, but I'm walking on anyway. Thematically, it's similar to the dog years.
But I also think it's, yes, picking up your feet in terms of I'm picking up my feet to continue walking to get to you. But I also think at this point, he's back. He's kicking up his feet. He's putting them up on the coffee table.
Oh, interesting.
Because he's now back.
He's back? Yeah, sure.
From that far horizon, yeah.
I love the line, cleaned up and brushed down and dressed to look the part.
Cleaned up and brushed down and dressed to look the part.
I love it for a number of reasons. Partly it's because, you know, I'm going to see my 6 days upon the road. I'm going to see my baby tonight.
6 days on the road and I'm gonna make it home tonight.
You know, you freshen up a little bit before you see your sweetheart.
Yeah.
Brushed down is very specifically a reference to a clothes brush.
Oh, I was thinking a horse. No, that's combed down. Sorry. That's curry comb.
Cleaned up and curry combed, dressed to look the part. Whereas now we would use a lint roller, something that is adhesive.
Yeah.
I have my grandfather's old clothes brushes. They work great. I actually travel with them sometimes.
It's just static, right? Basically.
It's literally just a brush, usually a boar's hair brush or a horsehair brush, something with
Oh, okay.
that you brush the dust off your clothes with.
Yeah.
So it's nice that, you know, he takes a minute to freshen up before coming in.
Yeah, right. It's not, I took a shower and now I'm in my smoking jacket and we can hang out by the fire.
Yeah.
It's, I splashed my pits and brushed the dust off my shoes. Hey, baby, I'm back.
I had a horse bath in a Tesco bathroom.
I used a baby wipe on my naughty bits.
I put half a pound into the perfume machine at the gas station. Fresh from God's garden, I bring a gift of roses to stand in sweet spring water and press them to your heart.
Fresh from God's garden, I bring a gift of roses to stand in sweet spring water and press them to your heart.
I don't think that in the English language, at least in the 20th century, anything more charming has been written.
No, I can confidently say that.
Fresh from God's garden. What is God's garden?
The world. I'm back from the world. I'm back and I brought roses.
Yeah. To stand in sweet spring water. The idea that the water of this spring is sweet.
Yeah.
It's the reminder that, you've come home. The sweetest water is here.
And you're standing in it after you've been walking this whole time.
Mm-hmm.
It's gotta feel good on your feet. It's nice and cool. It's refreshing. It alleviates the ache.
Yes.
Of that loss and that longing.
And going back to the kind of semi-religious overtones of this, it reminds me of, you know, the waters of Lethe, when Dante gets all the way up to the earthly paradise and Beatrice says, drink from the waters of Lethe and forget all of your sins. And he does. And he's like, oh, this tastes amazing. And she's like, you are such an awful guy. And he's like, what did I ever do? I don't remember shit. She's like, you did this, you did this. He's like, I don't remember doing any of that. There is a motif in a lot of religious imagery where if you have achieved a certain spiritual reward, it is often typified as clear spring water, clear, sweet, beautiful water.
Sure. And it also, if we're leaning significantly religious, which I don't think it necessarily carries over into this.
No.
But I also kind of get the idea of Jesus getting his feet washed.
Why not? Yeah, sure.
Mary Magdalene using her hair, I think. Is that right?
Kinky.
Could be wrong. He paid her, so.
There was someone who used their hair. Was it Mary Magdalene?
I think it was. Could be wrong. John will let us know if I'm a filthy heathen, which I am.
An unnamed woman.
Oh,
in the home of Simon the Pharisee.
wow. I got all of those details wrong. I thought it was with Windex with her hair.
No, it was also Mary Magdalene. Apparently,
Oh.
he got his feet washed more than once.
Nice. Twice in his 35 years, his feet were washed.
2 different washings, 2 different women.
Yeah. Who he got around.
The washing of the feet was typical of that era.
Yes. Fact. Correct.
They weren't weird.
I promise.
Like the Kipling cat, I walk alone.
Like the Kipling cat, I walk alone.
Now, Nick, we can assume that this is a reference to Rudyard Kipling, but what in the heck is Kipling's cat?
Yes. So Rudyard Kipling had a handful of short stories, and one of them is called The Cat That Walked by Himself.
Yeah, sounds like every cat.
The gist of the story is it's one of those really nice folk tales that kind of explains things, how things are today. So it explains why dogs and cows and horses are domesticated, but why we treat the cat in a different manner.
Is this part of the Just So stories, how the elephant
It
got
is.
his skin? Okay.
Yep.
all right.
It's exactly what it is. Yeah.
So why does the cat walk alone?
Because when the woman enticed the cow and the horse with hay and the dog with food, the cat was like, oh, no. I'm never going to do that. And then he realized, he looked in the cave and saw that it was warm and that there was milk from the cow. And the woman basically says, no, you had your chance. I will only let you in if I compliment you 3 times. He makes the baby happy, and then he's all of a sudden allowed into the cave. And then he does this, and all of a sudden the fire perks up and he can lay by the fire. And then he does this, and then the container holding the milk breaks and he's allowed access to the cream.
Right.
The bullet to the story is he never made a bargain with man or dog. So man said, you always have to catch mice or I'll throw boots and other objects at you. And the dog said, you always have to take care of the baby and protect the baby. And the cat's like, I don't know, maybe I will. And the dog's like, then I'm always going to chase you up a tree.
It's a parable of a figure who is associated with society, has commerce with society, but is not really part of society.
Being on the outskirts. Yeah. But also having value.
Which is very much in line with all the themes that Ian uses to describe himself.
Yes. Yeah. It brings in his love of cats, his love of English literature, his love of being a loner.
His feeling that he doesn't quite fit into society, but is still of value.
And the fact that it's a hella deep cut. You really got to know your Kipling to know what the hell he's talking about.
So, like the Kipling cat, I walk alone, never inviting trouble, never casting the stone.
Never inviting trouble, never casting the stone.
Not inviting trouble, not causing trouble.
Yeah, right.
Not judging anyone, not giving anyone an opportunity to judge me.
Almost being a professional fence sitter, even.
Ooh, which is what cats do.
They do. For pay.
They sit on a fence. But this badge of honor is of tarnished tin. Light your guiding beacon to bring this fisher in.
Now this badge of honor is of tarnished tin. Light your guiding beacon to bring this fisher in.
He's saying, yeah, I'm a cool loner. I walk by myself. But at the end of the day, that is something that is just some bull that it's a badge of honor, but it's worthless to me.
But it's not that cool. Yeah.
It's not that cool. I'd rather scratch at your door and let you feed me once and I'll keep showing up for the rest of your life.
Right. I will recognize your kitchen light on and go to it consistently.
Interesting reference to fisher. That could be a reference to the mammal, the fisher.
Oh, yes.
But more likely it's a reference to the cat being a fisher.
A fisher's like a stoat, a weasel kind of thing.
It's like that, yeah.
Similar. But also, we've got our light your beacon to bring this fisher home. We go into a lighthouse, man out on a boat kind of thing as well.
Yes, seal driver, baby.
Yeah.
Also, you know who else was a fisher?
Jesus.
Jesus Christ.
Jesus Christ. Boy, did he fish.
And, there's this sense of being a rock star, being a professional rock star is a little bit like being a deep sea cod fisherman where you have to leave your home and you have to go out and do this hard grinding work and dark days and a slog, and then you finally get to come home and have some time off.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's all there. That imagery all fits in kind of on all these different layers. And it's Ian.
This song is almost like constantly opening up its petals to give deeper and deeper layers of meaning.
Yes, indeed. Indeed it is.
I think the rose takes the place in the Western world symbolically of the lotus in the Eastern world in a way. If you got that similar thing of this, like lots and lots of petals, so there's always more opening up. You can never quite get to the interior of it.
Yeah. A mystery, a broad symbolism that can be applied on multiple levels.
Yeah.
And kind of no levels, it can just be kind of a mysterious thing.
And at the end of the day, it's just a flower.
Ultimately, just a flower. Do you know what the flower to the pawpaw looks like?
I don't, but you have described it as being brown and ugly.
It's so hideous. It's like 4 petals. It looks kind of fleshy. It's like a brown, like a dark maroon brown. But in a way, I kind of like it because it's such a unique look. And I don't think it smells, if I remember correctly. Like it has no scent.
To a human.
To a human, right. But it's still an important aspect to the procreation and the production of the fruit of the pawpaw. And really what the flower boils down to is it's a sex organ.
It's a sex organ, lest we forget.
Don't forget.
A gift of sex organs.
Here's a dozen dildos.
I brought you a bag of dicks. What would you say is your favorite flower? Do you like flowers?
I love sunflowers.
I love sunflowers too.
Love sunflowers so much.
So funnily enough, my very first employment outside of the home was at a flower shop in Mexico, New York called the Mexicali Rose.
Yeah.
I did kind of basic tasks. I did flower prep. I did some deliveries a little bit later on. And then years later, when I was living in Brooklyn, I returned to working at a flower shop. I worked at a flower shop. Oh, shoot. What was it called?
Oh, and you did deliveries then, right?
I did deliveries, for a flower shop in Astoria. Beautiful place. It was really fascinating. It was kind of the transition out of COVID. And it was really, really interesting to kind of see what people were delivering flowers for. It was during that period where all the micro weddings were happening.
Yeah.
You'd have a lot of people sending each other, sorry, you're stuck in your home flowers.
Yeah.
And then a bride coming in being like, I'm getting married this afternoon. You have just something that I could use as a bouquet.
And you were delivering them in the Abarth, right?
I was delivering them in the Abarth, yeah. And it gave me an appreciation for flowers. I would often go to the flower market and make purchases.
Nice.
And have to call the person and be like, well, they're out of ranunculus, or like, they do have Gerber daisies, but they look terrible.
Yeah.
What can we get and then she'd be like, oh, do they have any of these? It was just a nice perspective. And it's one of those things for me that like flowers have zero value as a thing of commerce.
Yeah.
And yet they are such a beautiful thing, and giving someone flowers is can be such a really special moment.
Yeah, we try to give potted plants when we give flowers, rather than like, here are these dead flowers, we try to give something that'll last.
I love picking flowers from my garden and putting them in a little vase. I love doing the little, very small, almost like a nosegay little bouquet.
Yeah, in a bud vase.
Yeah. I think there's something really sweet about it. Sometimes I'll pick a single rose from the garden and bring it to Katie, and it just feels very special.
Yeah. Yeah, picking from your property it just adds to it, We have enough around us that we get stuff kind of throughout the summer season, so we'll pick a little something here, and then in a couple of weeks we'll pick something else. It's nice. Raven's first job was delivering flowers, actually.
Really?
In Armonk, yeah.
That's so funny. So, Nick, we are officially done with the album. We are unofficially having one more track, which is...
It's All Trickles Down. which I just found out because Fado posted a picture in the Discord of the disc that had It All Trickles Down. So it was like on a super rare release, like a numbered release album that had a couple of different tracks off of .com. So the disc is a black disc with a white version of our mystery statue where the genitals are a lot more distinct, interestingly enough. The disc had benslikeawillow.com and It All Trickles Down.
Great. Wow. A special thing to listen to. I haven't heard it yet, so I'll look forward to do that.
Likewise, I haven't heard it either. I think we'll both go in blind on this one. It's nice.
We'll also be talking about album response, critical response to the album next week.
That's right. See what we got for reviews, if anything.
Until next time, I will stand in some sweet, sweet spring water. I'm Omen Thomas Sade.
I am the tired feet due to be picked up, Nick McGill.
We are made of tarnished tin, the Feckless Momes.
And count the hours and count the days until next week, until you can listen to Talk Tull to Me.
Talk Tull to Me.
Oh, look at that. There's an update. Okay, run the update. Yes. What's that? Updates are stupid. Oh, this has an update to Siri voices? That's cool.
Hello.
Hi, Siri.
Welcome to Siri's voice. What voice would you like to use?
What do you have for like UK voices, the United Kingdom?
My standard voice is English RP received pronunciation. Would you like me to tell you about the weather?
Yeah, please.
The weather in London today will be sunny, a high of 50 degrees Fahrenheit, and clouds toward the evening.
Okay. What's the next one? The next option for the UK?
Here's a Cornwall voice for you. What would you like to know about in your new Siri?
Siri, can you tell me about my stocks, please?
Your stocks have never been higher. Oh no, they've crashed. You're poverty-stricken.
Okay, that's depressing. I probably will forever relate my poverty to that voice now.
I also have, as an option, a Cockney voice.
Oh, yeah, I love that. Give me the Cockney voice. It's like Oliver giving me the news.
Right, governor, what you like to know about?
Give me a recipe for chocolate chip cookies, please.
Right, first of all, nick down to the shop, pop in, steal some frickin' cookies, and eat them.
Okay, that was interesting.
Would you like me to keep this voice? A lot of people don't know that this is a wonderful voice that you can program into your computer.
Yeah, I think it's a bit much. What about?
Would you like me to recommend places to buy drugs in the area?
No, thank you. Thank you for being so helpful. What about
take this new route and avoid the coppers.
What about something like Scottish?
Recalibrating. Prepared.
Okay, Siri, tell me what the weather is in Scotland, I guess.
It'll be absolutely pissing down rain all day. No point in going outside.
Okay, when does the coffee house open?
Coffee house opens at 3 p.m. for about 15 minutes until that dirty slag closes it.
Oh, okay.
Would you like to hear recommendations for Glasgow?
Yeah, why not?
Avoid Glasgow like the goddamn plague. You'll never get out of there alive.
That is a good recommendation. I've heard it's not fantastic.
Traffic is absolutely a pisser this evening. It'll take you 45 more minutes than usual to get home.
Give me a recipe for Scotch egg.
Scotch egg! First, what you want to do is take a regular egg, and then take a fifth of Scotch. Drink the Scotch, eat the egg, and read some Robert Burns.
Wow, that's... I wonder where
Nick,
it's getting at.
alert coming up. You've got a new recommendation from your podcasts.
Oh, okay. I'm a little concerned based on the answers that you gave me, but yeah, I guess what is the recommendation, Siri?
Number one recommendation for you is 101 ways that you can hate your life. Number two recommendation is Burns on Burns on Burns.
Okay.
A dendrological podcast from the Burn Unit.
Oh, wow. I did not expect that. Okay, go on.
And third is a recommendation from local podcasts, which is called Tull to Me, which acts, as you might know, is a proud member who the fuck is Holmes Sawyer's Network.
Wow.
Siri has overheated and returned to factory settings.
I think I'm just going to return this phone, Siri. Thank you.
I'll never leave you.